Jordan and Jake.
I feel good. I'm excited, ready to go.
The home stops. He throws it across field. Guess who? Jordan Gross.
Here are your Panther Hall of Honor members, Jordan Gross and Jake Delhomme.
Jake, today's October 1st, so that's good news. October, I don't know, this won't air on October 1st, but today is the 1st of October. And October, I think, is becoming, as I get into my mid-40s, my favorite month of the year.
Why is that?
The weather's awesome. There's not like, when you get older, it's like, ooh, yeah, I could maybe wear a jacket today. Like that gets me real excited. You know, like the chain, ooh, yeah. This is blue jeans. I got blue jeans today, and I might wear a jacket or a hooded sweatshirt. And when the weather calls for that, it's like a little treat. There's
Love
something
it.
to it, Jay. I don't understand why. I never paid attention to it for my first 35 years, probably. And then now the October just gets me excited. So I just thought I'd share that, Jake. I know you're
I
in
agree
a whole
with you.
different climate down there, but the football, like across the country gets a little more important. You know, like now high school, we're in conference games. The college teams are mostly through their non-conference schedule. I don't know. It's a good time of year, man.
No, I can agree with you there. And I usually feel the same way. There's only one problem. We're going to
Yeah.
approach record highs today, like in the
Uh,
92, 93.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
you
can't
know,
help you there,
but
buddy.
but it was only about 70 this morning when I got up. So that's always a win. When it can almost touch in the 60s, that's a win.
How many cups of coffee does the weather determine your
No,
coffee intake?
it does not.
It's steady
Yeah,
every
it's all.
day. You're such a
Yeah,
routine guy. I can't remember. You've told me this before, but how many cups of coffee?
I drink one in the morning before I leave because I have to watch the news and the weather, just the local
Yeah, you
stuff.
you do you listen to talk radio, you watch the
No,
news, and
not
you
listen to
read it
much
at the
talk.
same time.
No, not
No,
much
that's
talk
what happens.
radio. And then I'll make me a cup for when I drive to the barn, and there, um, kind of sip that a little bit on the way and a little bit when I'm at the barn or
What's
early
making a
on.
cup of coffee for you? Is it just like a coffee pot? Do you have like a Keurig? Is it
No,
a
it's a
drip?
Keurig.
Pour
It's
over?
it's a
Just
Keurig,
basic.
and it's black. I like my coffee black with a teaspoon of honey, local honey.
Honey.
Yeah, that's my
Honey
that.
in coffee.
Yeah, that's my sweetener. No cream or anything like
I
that.
don't know that
No,
I've ever heard that, Jake.
it is phenomenal. Just one
Honey
teaspoon of
in
honey.
coffee.
Yeah.
God, I always knew you were weird.
No,
And
that's
now it
my
just confirms it further. What do you put
that's
in tea? Sugar?
I don't drink tea at all,
Okay. All
ever.
right. Just making sure. Anyways, homecoming week for me at the old high school level.
Okay, let's be
So it's
real
a big
honest.
deal. It's a big
Did
deal.
did you pick the opponent for homecoming week,
Uh,
specifically?
I would say that you typically want to pick a matchup that you feel like you've got an opportunity to be
Advantage without
victorious.
complete focus by your team.
Yeah, and I don't,
Okay.
and any disclaimers of all the anything can happen, but right now we're playing pretty well, so we're 5-0. So we should. I'm hoping that we can get it done, have a good homecoming. You know,
Great.
powder puff tonight, Jake. Last year in the powder puff game, two girls collided faces, had to go straight to the hospital with stitches down the brow.
Wow. Wow.
A little extreme in my book, but nonetheless. Jake, a lot of changes on the Panthers roster this week. Uh, did you hear that we've got another lineman on IR?
Yeah, I did, Jordan. But listen, that's part of it. There's so many injuries now in the NFL. So many teams are going through this, and last year with our offensive line, we were very lucky. And this year, we just having some. We've been hit by the injury bug a little bit, but next man up, and hopefully somebody can step in and perform well.
That's just the standard issue right there, Jake. I feel like there's a little something under the surface with you right now, potentially about our Panther status. But Brady Christensen will come in as the right guard, familiar name. The depth proving valuable already, only 4 weeks into the season, Jake. But I don't feel real great if we get another injury. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, Jordan, I'm kind of like you. It's Robert Hunt really and truly his first 4 years in Miami, and then last year, ba basically, knock on wood, he was injury free, and then he gets a bicep. We know Austin Corbett has had a history of some injuries, and um, I think we thought it might have been worse with the knee in Arizona. It doesn't sound like it is season ending, so maybe we could grab him and get him back at some point. But yeah, it's just been, especially for Zavala, fourth round pick, who really and truly he's never had a true chance to prove himself because he gets in there and puts up some decent footage on film, but the injury bug has just been it's been difficult for him, very difficult.
Yeah, exactly right. And also David Moore, elbow injury, Jake, the dreaded elbow injury. He's on IR as well. So our receiver, Liget, was already out last week, and now Moore on IR. So just it's been kind of tough, Jake. It's been kind
It's
of
been tough.
1 week ago, we were so pumped about the 30 to
Yeah.
0. Now 42-13, 42 straight unanswered points. Just talk us through as a Panthers guy, where you're at here, Jake.
Jordan, probably just more like frustrated, I guess you could say, because like I do see improvement. I think our roster is better this year than it was last year. I like some of the young guys that we had, but just it's just frustrating because you felt, I don't know, maybe it's me and I'm too optimistic. I felt Jacksonville didn't lose the game and Arizona didn't lose the game. I don't think they won the game. To be quite honest, I felt like we just gave them things with turnovers and points, and we just little things where I know we can perform better. We didn't, and then we play Atlanta, and yes, we had one muff kick on a kickoff on a punt return, but other than that, just a clean football game, and we destroy them. And then last week, you go right down the field in the first drive, so effortless. And then it's like we stalled. We stalled. We have to punt, and then they return it 80 something yards for a touchdown, and it's just demoralizing. And we had some other issues on punt, and we lost another receiver, Levon Campbell, someone we claimed off waivers, I believe from the Chargers, who showed up so much the week prior as a gunner. And I always felt we didn't really have a gunner, and we got one through the waiver wire, which was great by the front office. And then now he's on IR. So yeah, Jordan, it's just been tough, man. Both defensive starting outside linebackers, rush guys didn't play last week, and so Nick Gordon had to play a bunch, and Princely, and yeah, they're doing a good job, but it's just that was frustrating. Jordan, I didn't expect that. Now, I did not think New England was a bad football team. If you watched them play against Pittsburgh, they should have won the game. They had four turnovers, and two of them, one was going over the goal line to score, and another one was in the red area. So there was a team that really and truly should have beat Pittsburgh, and they're not a bad football team at all. But yeah, so we play a team on a short week with a major injury in Miami, and they've had some struggles. But I think I'm frustrated. I think you can hear it in my voice, but I think you can. Everyone feels that way. I think Canales, as optimistic as he is, I mean, I think Dave said it after the game, and he took total ownership. I gotta I gotta do something different, and that's a coach basically sending a big shot to the team, like, hey, and the team credit some of the players that are talking. It's not the coaches, it's us. I mean, they're squarely taking the blame. And as a player, you've got to decide. You have to decide. Do you want to get better or not? Do we want to week in and week out? We can't just be a one time a week, once a month. Oh, we had a good game. We feel good. No, it's got to be. And you go back to work on Monday. Then when you come back on Wednesday, we got to get better. We got to build on it. And I think we'll play better this week. It's just that's the frustrating part.
As a head coach of a smaller operation, I can sympathize with Coach Canales when he says, like, I have to figure out how to prepare the team better. Man, you can hyper analyze everything, Jake. Like you go through in the off season when everything's fine. And you're like, here's our training camp schedule. Here's how I want to do things. Here's what I want to do on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays. Once we get in the regular season, blah, blah, blah. And then you can just start thinking, yeah, okay, all right. And every decision, when you're the guy in charge, every decision is gigantic to you. So, hey, I'm thinking about going no pads on Thursday or, whatever the case may be. How's that going to be? What are the guys going to think of that? Is that going to make them think that I don't think we should compete hard? Is that going to make them think that I'm taking care of their bodies and it's going to energize them? Okay, maybe we should do a live goal line situation. Okay, if I do that, what if somebody gets hurt? Well, what if it also shows the guys that we got to play tougher? What, on and on and on. And it's such a long NFL season, and then you get the injuries that come up in and around it, Jake. And as the head guy at this situation, I feel for Coach Canales because there's so many variables that are out of his control. And then he's just got to be hyper analyzing everything and figuring out, all right, where can I get that competitive edge, Jake? As a player, it's funny because you just like we would get the schedule, we would get the meeting times. The coaches would come in with the game plan. I know you as a quarterback, you had more say in that and were involved more than like I would have been as a lineman. But when you're receiving it, it's just so easy to like that's what we're doing, and you can kind of criticize it a little bit. But as the head guy, Jake, it's all up to you. And he's right, man, to take that accountability and say, I got to figure out how to do a better job. What are some things that you think he can do? Right? Like we got it now. We're the Dolphins a winnable game back at home. Like if you're a
Jordan, I
player,
think.
what would you want him to do here?
Okay, I mean, just well, and listen, it's so difficult because this new CBA with the amount of padded practices and things. I
Yep.
mean, like we knew how we were going to practice way back when, right? We
Yep.
knew we were going to have pads at least one day a week, and then the next day we're going out in full pads to get through 9-on-7, which is in essence a run drill because offensive linemen and you have to get your fits. Defensive
Yep.
line and linebacker has to get their fits. And so then we take it off halfway through practice once that was over and done with. So we knew, but now what is it? 16 padded practices they can have during the course of the year. So you
Right.
have to be selective and things like that. So it's just and I hear you questioning, okay, am I doing this right? Am I and I can only imagine what somebody's going through when it comes to that. Like when you're just constantly okay, because you want to do what's right for the team. But it comes a point in time where the team has to say, hey, coach, whatever you decide, we're going to do, and we're going to execute it at a high level. Right? I mean, am I
Yeah.
wrong for thinking?
No,
To
and
me, that's where my mind goes.
well, I was very close with Ron Rivera when he became our coach because I was one of the elder statesmen. I was my ninth year when he got here, and then we were together for 3 years through my 11th season. And he would ask my opinion on things a lot. And I remember, especially when he first came, he was so respectful, and he would ask players and his assistants, and he would ask the GM, and not that he didn't want to be in charge, but like just asked for feedback, and I think he finally learned too that man, sometimes you got to quit asking. Like there were so many different opinions. If Coach Canales right now went around and asked every player and the owner and the GM and the scouting department and everybody what they think we should do, Jake, he'd get 50 different answers. So like and I think there's a lot of conviction. I don't know him closely, but I feel like there's a lot of conviction in him trusting his processes, and he speaks about it so well and knows what he believes. But that's it, man. He's just got to stick to what he thinks is right for this team. And you were well said when you said the team's just gonna have to say whatever you need, coach. We're gonna go with it and do it. So I'd be anxious to see where it goes from here. Jake,
Yeah,
the Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I agree, and I think like, and I'm thinking about him. Listen, he wants to run the football, right? Establish it. I don't know if we've seen that yet from Chuba. Chuba's a volume carrier. He's one that he gets lubed up, and the better. Well, the first two games, that's completely out the window. We were able to see some of it a little bit more in the Atlanta game, right? And then again last week, out the window. It's after the first half, the run game in essence is out the window. Like that's who we need to be. And I know we have issues up front. We've had some injuries, but you've got to, Jordan. You and I both know what a run game does. You never played in a pass happy offense, and neither did I. Right? It was Coach Fox. It was defense, run the ball, play action pass, take a shot, things of that nature. Same thing with Ron. Y'all ran the ball because y'all had the freak of all freaks at quarterback who could just put on a cape and do things on his own. And he just got better and better as a passer, which ended up him being the NFL, league MVP. But that's Carolina was known as that tough kind of like that physical offense and defensive football team. And that's something that in listening today, that's what he wants to do. That's the background, that's the history. His pedigree is coming from Seattle with this physical run game and then play action passes, take shots in the pass game, and a physical, defense. So that's kind of where I think his mind is right now. It has to be.
Well, man, I hope to see it this week, man. It's just back at home. I already said it, October, beautiful weather, and a Miami team that's limping in a little bit, Jake, like you said, on a short week, and then that terrible injury to Tyreek Hill. I know you probably saw the video on that, Jake. Like spit gruesome injuries. I had one myself with a complete break of my lower right leg and had it hanging there, no bone structure intact and foot backwards and all that. We're used to injuries, Jake, but man, it's rough when you see some of those that look so bad, like that Tyreek Hill injury did.
Yeah, you never, I mean, one, you hate injuries, but gosh, I saw it live, Jordan. I'm in the kitchen and I saw it and I'm like, oh, you physically get weak. And, I was next to you when that happened to you. I mean, you saw it happen. You just knew, like, oh my gosh. It's one of those, and how the team responds to it. I mean, our team, we were in an absolute complete funk when that happened to you because you just know, and I'm not just praising you. Everybody knew what you meant to the team and what you brought to the team. And the crazy thing is, you just got to get over it. But we're playing a team that was struggling mightily. And yes, they had a win on Monday night, so it's a shorter week. But I mean, the Jets, my gosh, 13 penalties, fumbled going into the end zone, some turnovers. The Jets they thought their coach was phenomenal. Aaron Glenn was like, until you decide you're not going to lose, you can't win. And he was exactly right. So we're playing a team that's coming. Their number one playmaker is not there. Tua went under center a lot more last week, had a lot more success. Darren Waller is a freak show of a tight end, who had a good night the other night. They're going to try to run it and play turnover free because they're saying, I promise you, they're saying in their meetings is that, hey, you don't know what you're going to get with this team, but we can cause a turnover from them, and we can jump on top of them and make them one-dimensional. That's probably what's being said in their meeting room.
No, 100%. They're saying very similar things to what we are too. Hey, it's a 1-3 team. It's a winnable game. It's October football. Let's get back on track. Yeah, Jake, no magic answers when tough things get like this. And you and I, unfortunately, were parts of seasons where there was slumps like this. Remind everybody about what happened after our Super Bowl year, Jake. We started
Sure.
out
So
2-6.
yeah, we're no 1-6, 1-7. I think, Jordan.
Okay,
We
sure.
no, we lose the first game, and you lose Smitty. You lost Steve Smith for the year,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Broken ankle, boom,
Injuries,
he's
big
gone.
injuries. Yep.
But not only that, we started losing guys left and right. We had a tackle we signed in the offseason, Adam Meadows retire.
Yep.
Stephen Davis, Deshaun Foster, Chris Jenkins, Dan Morgan. We lost all these studs on our football team. And then we're playing in San Fran, who was an awful football team, and we're down at half. And I remember John Fox, he laid into us like I'd never heard him lay into us before. And he was a tough, tough coach. And it basically was like, until you decide to get over it. I mean, and sure enough, we just were like, screw it. In the second half, we just took off. And then we won, what, 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 8, whatever it was, 6 out of 8 maybe, to finish the season. And we gave ourselves a chance going into the final game of the season to even make the playoffs. But we were signing guys like on Wednesdays, and they're starting for us on Sunday. We signed a fullback, Casey Kramer, if I'm not mistaken, because Brad Hoover got hurt. Hey, we met him Wednesday morning. How you doing? Yeah, you're starting at fullback on Sunday, and he
Yep.
played phenomenal.
Yep.
We went back to our core concepts, our core. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna run, toss gator, power, counter, and then Nick Goins became that running back. We changed the passing game to everything got filtered through Moose instead of Smitty and Moose. Now we had to go. It's just you have to find a way, and when players decide to find a way, then that's when I think you can really kind of get things jump started.
The last thing I have has nothing to do with the Panthers, but I read a good article on ESPN about QBs strategies and how they talk to the officials before game and in game, Jake. And I've seen Bryce talk to the quarterback or the officials from time to time. But just that relationship, Jake, is just I think it's something that'd be fun to hear from you. Like, did you work those officials when you were a quarterback? Try to get some calls, maybe a roughing the passer. How was that for you when you were on the field?
Listen, I think you developed a relationship with some of the officials. Ed Hockley, he was a gentleman, and he didn't get emotional. Gene Steratore I thought was awesome. There were a few of them. God, what was the other one? I'm trying to blank on another one's name. Maybe Phil Luckett? Well, anyway, but you develop a relationship with them. But the whole roughing the passer stuff, that was called very different than it is now, right? I mean, they're laying the body on you. I mean, they drove you into the ground, right? That was coached. But you had a couple, Jordan, that listen, they were what they were. They thought they were holier than thou, and you couldn't talk to them. And I know their names, I won't repeat them, but just they thought they were holier than thou, and they just didn't want to talk to anybody. But
Right.
it just is what it is. But you try to have somewhat of a working relationship. I mean, I remember Ed Hockley, we in Dallas, and we're playing. It's the week before Thanksgiving, and I felt it was late. And I mean, I get picked and driven. But when I looked at him and he was like, Jake, it was close. It was close. I just didn't think. But I'm okay. I'm okay with that. He told me the truth. I mean, he told me the truth,
Yeah.
whether I agreed it, but at least you didn't lie to me. Yeah, I like the ones that you can kind of talk to, or they'll tell you something, hey, you better warn so and so, it's getting close on this, things like
Yeah.
that where,
Yeah.
you know,
Not just coming at you right away with the penalty,
correct.
trying to work
Right.
with you. Right. Well, no, I thought it was worth asking. Jake, are you working the game this weekend?
Yes, sir. I'm
All
working
right.
it and I'm fired up.
Good luck matching polos, you and Luke.
There's
Okay,
no
going
doubt.
back 2 weeks,
Yeah.
that's the secret weapon. At this point, we'll go with anything that we can to get us what we need, okay?
Jordan Gross, if it works, it works. It's very simple.
All right. Have fun, buddy. Talk to you soon.
All right.